We want to get back our Hong Kong. All the 5 demands the 5 demand is what we are requesting right now. 1 down, 4 to go. These are the things that we were promised long time ago.
The video, of course, this is like a first, the entertainment quality of Hong Kong production still is amazing. Liberate Hong Kong, revolution, was it?
Of our time.
Revolution of our time, doesn't sound like let's go back to the basic law. It doesn't sound of the many transgressions that Philip described of the extradition treaty, this and that. This seems to be, the message seems to be going far beyond that. It sounds like as an independence anthem. There aren't too many clarifying comments in that video. It seems it's very clear. So I guess the question is, where is this movement? First, is this really any more about rigidly enforcing the basic law, or has the movement moving beyond that into something else? And so I'd like both of you to ask both of you first, if it's a pro-independence agenda, how much support does that have in Hong Kong civil society? So, Philip first.
Well, I don't think the idea of independence, I don't think does. I mean, I don't, to be honest, nor do I think that the idea of revolution is particularly attractive. And obviously, this is something that Beijing has focused on and talked about color revolution, when actually, what we're really talking about is just reform of the system in Hong Kong. With increased democracy and ensuring that Hong Kong's cultural and other legal traditions are not undermined by the one country emphasis that has been imposed and has been pushed by the Carrie Lam government and before that by C.Y. Leung. So it's, I must admit, rather this word was changed to reform, but obviously that's not quite as dramatic as talking about revolution, even if the translation is not really very exact. But,
so Anna, you're saying this is more about an issue of translation, not about what the
yeah, I think it's a different type of to translate it. That at that time when Edward Leung formed the localism, that party was a hit. Philip already talked about it. He was in a by-election in the beginning, and he won a lot of the seat against Alvin Yeung in the New Territory East. And later on, they just saying, no, you are not you don't obey the basic law. So he was disqualified. And during that time, he got caught into this type of so-called the fishbowl revolution. They call it that way. It's an altercation, and then the police came. The scale is much less than what happened right now. And he was charged with so many counts of the felony or things that even the serious crime. So at the end, he got jailed 6 years. And it is the second year that he's in the prison right now. The riot, they charge him riot, and although the riot thing, I don't think it went through riot. In Hong Kong, you can charge up to 10 years in prison. So when we want to look at how the pro-Beijing side, they will, the newspaper like Dai Gong and all this, they will not like to hear that, because we got attack counter rally all over global. In London, Paris, New York, we got the people wearing the red color. We are black. They are always red with the flag. What they portray us is that we advocate independence of Hong Kong. The other side, they sing the song. They say, we love China, we love Hong Kong. That happened also in Australia, in the campus that with a lot of the issue there. Whenever they have a rally, they have the counter side. This is never unheard of. I mean, outside Hong Kong. We believe the machinery was on. One of the activists, Nathan Law, next week he will be here. He will tell you he's one of the number one search on the WeChat or one of their internet thing. And people don't even know who he is. They portray him as the black hand behind the movement, which is not true. And of course, who is behind Nathan is the United States because he got accepted to Yale. And so the whole thing about the revolution is they still just want to say, I want to get back the things you promised me. Okay? I want the universal suffrage. And it's not a real revolution. None of the students or the protesters were actually so-called that really they died from that. And I know people see a lot of violent things that looks like really scary, but in reality, that's not in that scale. Because I want to emphasize one point: it's the police brutality. This is totally unheard of.
Which is my next question. Which is my next question. Philip, do you have one more comment?
Yeah. I mean, I think we have to understand a little bit about how Beijing sees things. I mean, they go on about the Black Hand and so on, which is, largely an invention. On the other hand, you have to realize that this is a communist government which does not believe in liberal democracy of any sort. So, it's not surprising that they see the support for liberal democracy that they regard as an alien Western idea as being somehow associated with a new form of U.S. imperialism or whatever however they like to see it. And the other aspect that fits in with this is the deterioration in U.S.-China relations over the last 2, 3, 4 years. So that feeds into it as well at a time when China has become more nationalistic in various ways. So it is not surprising that Beijing reacts in this way, and that many people on the mainland will buy into it. I'm not saying that that's right, but I'm saying that is the sort of underlying situation in China that makes it is fertile ground for people believing that this is a Western black hands at work in what's happening in Hong Kong.